We're the armed attorneys, and today we're going to talk about flying with your firearm, which I think a lot of people are surprised to hear. It's easier than you think if you've never done it before. There are some rules to follow, but I found that it adds about 5 to 10 minutes to my check-in process. So it's really not so bad. The first thing you need to think about, and this is actually the place we see people get in trouble the most, is can you legally possess that firearm in the state you're flying to? The airlines will not tell you. You can be in Louisiana, go to the airport and say, I'm getting on a plane to New York, or I'm getting on a plane to New Jersey, and check your firearm in. We'll talk about that process in a second. And the airline is never once going to tell you, you're going to get arrested when you hit the ground in New Jersey. And yet, it's something that is a huge consideration, but you've got to take that upon yourself. So step one, can you take the gun to the state you're going to? What's next, Richard?
The next one is the check-in procedure. And we'll have a link in the comment section below about the TSA's procedures. But essentially, every firearm that you fly with has to be declared. The firearms and ammunition have to be declared. So how does this work? Well, you'll have a locked hard-sided container containing, let's use a semi-automatic pistol, for example. But I recommend, locking the slide open so that the agent can see that it's unloaded. But you'll have your locked hard-sided container. Most of them, for handguns, for example, don't meet the minimum size requirements. They'll be in a larger piece of checked luggage, but you'll go to your airline's check-in counter, say, hey, I'm flying with a handgun today. They'll open it up in their presence. Sometimes they'll handle it. Most of the time, if the slide's locked open, they'll just look at it. Your ammunition can be in the same locked hard-sided container, but the ammunition has to be completely enclosed. And so that could be technically in a magazine, but you have to have a magazine cover to enclose it, or what I just recommend, carrying it in the manufacturer's packaging, or they make little special ammo boxes, but that can go in the same box as your handgun. So you'll declare it, they'll inspect it, make sure it's unloaded, they'll lock it in your presence and place it inside of your larger piece of checked bags, just like we were talking about with our handguns, and they'll place it on the conveyor belt with all the other bags. And when you arrive in your destination state, they don't do anything special. They don't segregate it off in a different area. It'll be on the carousel with all the other checked bags. But it raises an interesting issue, because this happens. What happens if you get rerouted and you already checked before, that first step Emily talked about, where you're going to a state that's legal to possess. Let's say you're flying from, I don't know, Texas to Wisconsin, and you get rerouted in Illinois, or you get rerouted to, I can't imagine, but what do you do?
Yeah, this is a big concern. You know that you are legal in your end state. However, all of a sudden you find yourself in New York or New Jersey because your plane's been rerouted, and it happens. The only thing we can recommend is do not take possession of that luggage. Go to the airline, let them know that you want your luggage forwarded directly to the end destination without taking possession. That's really the best you can do. And speaking of airlines, I think we should note that you really do need to call your airline before you fly with that firearm if you have never done it before with that particular airline. Some of them have their own restrictions. Richard was talking about the ways in which you can fly with ammunition. It's worth noting there are some airlines who say, we go over and above the TSA, you can only fly with ammunition in its original manufacturer's packaging. So check with that airline, make sure you've got everything correct, or else you could miss your flight because you're taking a firearm back home.
Yeah, the other kind of special rule that I've seen is maybe they want to lock through, when you have your clamshell case, maybe they want to lock through every place where a lock is capable of being placed, because they don't want your case to be able to be pried open or something. So
I got turned away with the shotgun once for that. So yes.
So check the airline. They might have their rules posted online, but know your airline's policy ahead of time. Very good point. And then the last, this is our practical tip, is check your carry-on bags. All right, they do not want you taking firearms parts, ammunition with you on the plane, and this will get you hit with, possibly criminal charges, a hefty fine from the TSA up to $14,000. So check all your bags. If your firearm has ever touched the bag that you're carrying on, then you need to check it to make sure that nothing is left behind, something that could get you in trouble.
Yeah, and if you think that an accident will save you from that hefty TSA fine, it absolutely will not. All day long, you can tell them, I didn't know it was there. I still have never seen that TSA fine go under about $2,000, Richard. I don't know if you have, but it's serious.
Yeah, maybe with some indigency, with a ton of documentation that there's just no ability to pay. Those fines are very, very hefty.
Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and let's beat that anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video.
And as always, we appreciate y'all's questions and discussion in the comments section below. Until next time, we are the Armed Attorneys.